Okay guys, so a family friend of ours, Kristen, is the one that does the app that she's making. And I'm downstairs, so you might see a mess behind me, but you're gonna be looking at the phone most of the time. Her name is Kristen Rulon, and she's gonna tell you a little bit about her app.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Rulon. I'm the founder and CEO of MindStar Health, the company behind the MindStar app. We're in the development stage, which means we're kind of in the fun part. We're kind of putting everything together, and as far as colors and what the app's going to do. And so with that, the app focuses on self-awareness, helping people build self-awareness. Now, why is self-awareness important? Well, if you're going to make any sort of positive change, you have to be aware that you need to change. Like, oh, you know what? I really don't like it when I, get too short with my kids. I don't like it whenever I am in a traffic jam and it seems like my whole day is ruined after I'm stuck in traffic. It seems like the whole day just went to crap. So being self-aware is the very first thing that has to happen before any sort of change. So what MindStar is going to do is that MindStar will help you build awareness, because in the app you will be creating your own unique self-care routine. Everyone's self-care routine is different. That's what's great about this app, is that it's actually going to be for all genders. A lot of self-care apps are just for women, but that is, that's one of the stigmas of self-care, is that it's just for women, which is completely not true. That's why we have the mission. Our mission statement is advocating universal self-care. So with that, you'll be able to create your own custom routine. There'll be suggestions, but then of course you can add things there. And then as you check in throughout the day in the app, you will earn stars or points. And we have come up with an algorithm, and I'm not a math person, so it was tricky, but we did it. When you reach certain milestones in the app, you actually will be rewarded. And what I mean by that is that you are going to get free products or discounted services, or possibly free services, from sponsored businesses. So businesses that have teamed up with us to offer you something, which is great, because basically MindStar's cheering you on, and this business is saying, hey, we see you and we're proud of all the work you're doing too, because let's admit it, being an adult is really hard. And with the stigma of self-care being selfish and self-care is just for women, or it's expensive, MindStar will hopefully bring some self-awareness and hopefully kind of take away some of that stigma of that it's just for women. Not true. It'll help, as far as self-care is just for those who have money, middle class up. That's not true. MindStar will prove that it's for all socioeconomic classes. And then, you've got it's expensive, and you've got that it's for socioeconomic classes, or it's for socioeconomic classes. It's for everyone. It's for all minds, so as far as gender. And it's one of those things where it's actually doesn't take a lot. As in, we do things for ourselves every single day that's considered self-care that we don't even really know that are actually considered self-care. Because we are told that we have to save up all our money and then take this lavish vacation, right? And then that's treating ourselves. Or we have to go and spend hundreds of dollars, on a down payment for this really fancy car that we can't afford. Or we have to max out our credit cards for something that maybe we don't necessarily need at that moment, but we think we need. So what's nice about MindStar is that it's going to actually help with little bitty rewards, T-shirts and face masks and discounts on books. It's limitless, really. So what's nice is that you're actually going to get rewarded these nice little incentives as you go. Because let's face it, our brains are all wired to kind of be rewarded, and we want free stuff. So this is a way to cheer you on in a way that's healthy and a way that's positive. So that is what MindStar is. how it's going to, it's free for users, but how it's going to make money, because that's a question that people ask. It's subscription-based or advertise-based for mental health professionals. We have teamed up with some mental health professionals in the Casey area. We have an advisory board. And what's great is that they're helping me and my team kind of do this from a professional and a patient perspective. And by I mean by patient is that I have myself struggled with mental illness. I have generalized anxiety disorder and PTSD. And that PTSD is from postpartum depression and anxiety. We're taking the patient perspective, we're taking the professional perspective to make this an all-around great app. And as I said, subscription-wise, therapists and psychiatrists and mental health clinics will pay a monthly fee to be featured on our help page. So it's also nice that if you need help, or maybe you're thinking about therapy and you don't know where to start, you'll be able to click on the help page and see local professionals within a 30-mile radius of where you are. You'll be able to see everything, if they do text therapy, or if they do chat therapy, if it's just straight up talk therapy, or their phone therapy is also big as well. Their website, and if they want to, the therapist can include their insurances and form of payment that they accept, which is huge. It took me months to find my therapist because the website, my insurance website, was completely outdated. And this one was no longer in, this one was no longer taking my insurance, this one couldn't get me in for months. And if you want to start getting better and taking care of yourself, you want to be seen right away, right? Like, you don't want to wait months. So this is also great. It's going to help you, be able to find the help that you need much easier and much more efficiently than having to call your insurance to see if you have it. It's going to list it right there. So then you can call your insurance. Hey, I think this person takes my insurance. What's my coverage? So we're going to take out some of the extra work that you have to do, so it's easier to find help, because we want you to succeed. And what we say at MindStar is that all minds deserve to shine. That's basically what MindStar is in a nutshell. Brad, do you have any questions for me?
So this is just starting out to be an adult app at the beginning, correct? Right now, ideally we see this app being for everyone, teens, even preteens, anyone that has a phone. But, for investors, you can't go out and really say that it's for everyone. So we are targeting females first, just because there's just a higher demographic at this moment. That doesn't mean we're going to stop. We're going to continue pushing. Like I said, our mission statement is advocating universal self-care. But our general focus when we first launch Kansas City is going to be women, and we'll expand to adult males. And then the plan is I really would like to get the schools on board with this, and possibly whether they're encouraging it to their students or they're just endorsing it. But we would love to get the schools involved, because we really like teens to use it, especially because, the average age for depression to be diagnosed back in the 60s was someone in their 40s. Now the average age is 14 is when someone's getting diagnosed with depression. And 1 in 5 adults will experience some sort of mental condition, something that's considered a little more short-term, I guess the best way to say it. 1 in 25, however, U.S. adults, they're finding out, will actually suffer from a mental illness that actually is not short-term. It's a little more long-term, or it's forever. Definitely in a mental health crisis in the United States. And MindStar comes from my own personal experience, as I shared earlier. I received the birth control shot after our daughter Piper was born, and a week after that, it was like everything changed. It was like a light switch. I didn't know what was going on, but I did not feel like myself. I'm a pretty positive person, and I was calling myself names, using words that I don't even use, at all. So I knew something was up, and I went to my doctor, and sure enough, they said, well, there's a 2% chance that the shot can do this.
So they said, well, you can either take more birth control or do this naturally, and it can take up to 2 years for your system to regulate. So here's some pills and good luck. Well, the first year I fought it naturally, and it got better. And then on my daughter's first birthday, it came crashing down. So then I decided to get serious, and I started researching therapists, and I started taking medication. And then I started reading every personal development book I could get my hands on, 4 to 5 a month. I'm not even joking, guys. I have a 40-minute commute to work one way, so 80 minutes at least a day, 5 days a week, and I'd be listening to personal development books. Anytime I had a negative or depressing thought, I would literally just force myself to read, basically reprogramming my brain. So MindStar came from in the recovery stage. Around June or so of last year, you know, I had come home. I was doing for our 3 kids. My husband is gone 50% of the time, so he's not home. And our oldest brought home a piece of paper with a gold star on it. And I thought, you know, I sure would love to have a gold star for being an adult. I went to work. I drank my water. I made my bed. I did all these things. Where's my gold star for taking care of myself? And then I noticed on my table that there was some really pretty pink packaging because I get a monthly beauty subscription. So my beauty products had come in, and then it just kind of clicked. And that's how kind of MindStar came to be. I thought we should be rewarded for taking care of ourselves as adults. And then I thought, what is something that we can do? And really, you know, when you're in a really dark state, you're looking for anything to make you feel a little bit better. And so why not be rewarded for taking care of ourselves? And just little bits of encouragement can go a long way, because studies show that actually it's the smaller things that we do for ourselves consistently. As I say, I call it consistent persistent. And it's the little things that we do for ourselves every day that actually build on those bigger things. And that's when you see results when it comes to really anything in your life. Career, overall well-being, spiritually, that's where it's at.
So are you going to have listed not only therapists, are you going to try to have on your app, like Marco's been to Crinton a couple of times, are you going to have places like that for people to get extra help, or when they have kids that need help for depression and stuff, are you going to try to get them on board as well?
Yes. The plan is not just private practices. We would love for institutions and organizations of all sizes. So I would love to have some of the larger facilities like that listed. And in fact, we are working with a few. I can't name any names yet, but we've got a few interested actually about putting their information on our help page. Yes, awesome. This is something. It's, you know, it's like I said, not just private practice. We want anything that is mental health related that helps people, you know, in some capacity to be on the app. Absolutely.
So it's for adults that have kids that they know is depressed. It's not just for adults. They can get on there for their kids and find help for them.
No. So yeah, like you're using the app, you know, and there's nothing, you know, as far as when we set this up, as far as the terms and conditions, we're setting it up that you can be, I think it's 16 right now, and be using the app. We might lower that as we go, but I think right now it's 16. We're planning on, like I said, possibly lowering that. But yes, you can definitely be using the app and have someone else you know. So you can be using that. You can use the help page for anybody, not just for yourself. So yeah, if you have a spouse, a good friend of yours that maybe is kind of, you know, they know they need help. You don't know how to help them, or they don't know how to help themselves, I should say. You can use this to just find local therapists. It's not just for those that are using the app. You can use that help page for anybody. Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. Like I said, we're going to be launching in Kansas City. I'm scared if I give an exact date because I have a date right now, but I'm scared if I say it, I'll jinx it. But the idea is spring. This spring, we'll be launching. I will be speaking, if you are in the Kansas City area, I will be speaking more in depth about some of the stigma of self-care and things we can do for ourselves that are free or extremely cheap that are considered self-care, and it's for all genders and all ages. I'll be speaking more about that in depth at KC Comic Con on that. I think it's Friday, March 30th or 29th. I'm not quite sure. But if you look up KC Comic Con, Planet Comic Con, that Friday I will be speaking there. So if you happen to be at Comic Con, I welcome you to come meet me and to definitely ask any questions that you might have. You're more than welcome to also follow us on Facebook. We are building our website right now. If you go at MindStar app, that's our Facebook handle. And we have a pretty unique theme. If you'll look us up on social media, we like to focus on kind of a galactic kind of space theme. We use lots of art from outer space, from the stars. I have a very strong connection with the stars. I've always felt kind of connected, and there's such a peace, right, to looking at a beautiful sky of stars. I grew up in the country, so I could go outside and just see the Milky Way and everything right there. We're kind of using that, and we're using jewel tones and this really vibrant colors with a dark background. You'll know it's us from that. And we also are on Instagram. It's the same thing, MindStar app. And then on Twitter, we are MindStar app 1, the number 1. If you would like to follow us there, we are doing a campaign right now, some crowdfunding for the last bit of it. We're about 80% funded, but it's this last 20%. I'm not gonna lie, I would like to get some crowdfunding, a little bit of support there, just because I'm trying to do this without getting into as much debt. I'm gonna be honest. These apps they're expensive, but they're worth it if they're done right. I'm really hoping that we can get the final funding there. We are looking at investors as well. We've got 2 people interested. I can't say any more than that. So we're on Facebook. We're on social media right now. We're doing the final bits of it, and I'm sure Brad will update you guys whenever it's actually live. It's actually going. We're gonna go Kansas City first. That doesn't mean you can't be somewhere else and launching it. An app from a different city. It just, that help page might not be 100% accurate. We're gonna do Kansas City first, and then we're gonna expand city by city. So probably St. Louis and then Chicago. And then our plan is hopefully in about 3 years, we can say we're in every major city in the U.S. And from there, just kind of grow. I mean, we're really hoping this just takes off and it just expands. And we really believe it will, because this is, definitely from an altruistic standpoint. This was the app that I needed in my darker days, and I am now using that. That is my fuel to really bring this. This is my life. This is my gift to the world, besides my kids, obviously. The questions, that's great. Maybe you have something you're concerned about. I will say that we have purchased a server, and we are doing everything we can, our due diligence, to make sure that, since this information is going to be kind of sensitive information, we're doing as much as we possibly can. I've got a really top-notch team on this as far as keeping everyone's data protected. So we're doing stuff right now, even in the beginning, to make sure that people's data is protected, because this is very sensitive information. And I will add that you can be anonymous on the app. You don't have to, you sign in with your email, but you can actually create a username and you can be anonymous. You don't have to put your picture up. If you don't do a picture, the MindStar logo shows up. And something I will add that we are doing that's different is that we are, you just don't have to click female or male. We want this to be inclusive. So, maybe if you have any thoughts on that, right now we have gender fluid. We're debating also maybe putting non-binary on there. But we really want this to be for all minds. We really want everyone to be accepted. So if you have any thoughts on that, we're in the development stage, and so we're kind of figuring that out. But I don't want people to feel like they're just kind of, they're being categorized, right? But I just want this to be as inclusive as possible and as welcoming as possible, because everyone deserves to have a healthy mind. Because if you're going to do anything, it all starts here. like I said, about awareness, and even if you are going to start a workout routine or a diet regimen, if you're not in the right space, it's not going to happen. This is where it all comes down to, is the importance of mental health. And we really think that this app is going to help people build self-compassion, and it's going to build empathy and awareness. So that's basically it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Kristen. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, I really appreciate you talking this up and letting everybody know that I was coming. It's Indiegogo, so indiegogo.com. And if you search MindStar app, we're the very first one that pops up.
That's for what again?
Okay, so that's it for anyone who's interested in contributing or watching our video or learning more about the app right now, as we don't have a website.
Okay.
That's a good place to go, like I said, or because we have some perks, like some MindStar t-shirts like that we're selling as a reward, as an incentive for donating. They're $15 right now. We have a couple other perks on there, but part of this campaign is the one for all minds, because essentially it's not your mental health, it's not my mental health, it's our mental health, and that all minds struggle, all minds experience joy and peace and all the plethora of emotions that are out there. So we're encouraging people, even if you want to give and you feel like I don't even have $5 to give, that's perfectly fine. Even just $1, or even just sharing it on your social media, helping us get the word out is huge. Because we are a startup, our marketing budget is pretty minimal right now, because we're trying to invest as much as we possibly can in the actual app. So that it's actually, it's going to be something that's worthwhile. I definitely will not be launching an app that's halfway done. Anyways, that's basically it. Brad, I really appreciate, letting me come on here and yak about it. I really appreciate that.
Yes, no problem.
Do you have any more questions for me?
Nope, I think that's it.